Good morning and welcome to this Fusion360 tutorial. The tutorial will be split into three main sections: fundamental skills, advanced operations, and specific operations. For now, the tutorial will be 14 parts. I might add more depending on the time I have and the importance that the specific operations will bring. I have split the tutorial into these three sections for the following reason. It might seem counterintuitive to first teach you about components and joints and assemblies, which is quite a complex, advanced notion, but without these two notions, you do not know fundamentally how to use Fusion. You could do without these and create any model using simply sketches and extrudes, but you need to know these two. So basically, this tutorial lets anybody learn the program. If you are a systems engineer, you will not be doing mechanical engineering, you can stop at part 7. You'll know everything you need to know to use Fusion, direct a project, follow your team and their work. If you're a mechanical engineer, I highly recommend going up to 14, because these are the basic operations that I use as a mechanical engineer every single day. Now, if I have time and you want to learn every single caveat and part and little nifty trick in Fusion, I recommend going to the end of the specific operations. I have right here shown an intuitive notion of what you learn going from category to category. Right now, in theory, you know nothing. Jon Snow. If you finish up to part 7, the fundamentals of the tutorial, you will now know infinitely more. Coming from 0, that's infinite. If you go up to part 14, you will be about twice to 10 times more efficient using these new tools. So I think you might be able to do everything using just sketches and extrudes, but it will take you a ridiculous amount of time. You will need to use these tools often. Now, these specific operations, they will make you more efficient, but I use them very rarely, and you can mostly always use these different ones, and I believe that for the software written to implement these operations, they reused some code from these ones. So you're basically combining multiple advanced operations to do a specific operation that's much bigger but faster. So basically, here, this is the added value to my tutorial. It's because disclaimer, there are a lot of tutorials of Fusion360 on the internet, and a lot of them given by people with more experience than me in the program and in mechanical engineering, and who speak clearer than me. But I believe that in my head it's clear how I organized this tutorial, and if you follow the whole tutorial, as I just said, you should be able to match my knowledge. One of the reasons why I believe teaching is so important is because without teaching, we would still be cavemen. The point of teaching is that somebody from a generation, learns something over their lifetime, and they teach it to the new generation, smaller people, in a time smaller than their lifetime that it took them to learn the skill. So the new person, as he grows up and becomes an adult, now has more of his lifetime to develop new skills. If we were not able to teach, and it took the young person, as much time to learn on his own what his parents and grandparents learned over their lifetime, we would still be cavemen, because we would not have we do not gain this added benefit of the time gain. You're able to teach the same amount of information in less time than it took you to gather it. It's why I'm taking all this time to create this series. I really believe that over 2-3 years I've learned this whole Fusion360 program. I can manage to teach a new generation to use it in much less time than it took me to learn it, and to make much less mistakes that costed me time by following this tutorial clearly. We will start by installing the program. So let's hop on to the web browser and go to the Fusion page. So here is the web page. I will leave 2 links in the video description. This first link is for students. After clicking on this button, you will be brought to this page, and you will have to click on, once again, Fusion360. These are all of the software that you can expect to get from Autodesk. So Autodesk is the mother company, and they make a lot of software. In our case, we care about Fusion, so get started with Fusion. And you have to make an account, given all of your information. So don't quote me on this, but you do not need to use your university email account. You just need to use one email account, and you will have to validate that you are part of the university, so you're students, with that account. So you will basically, you have one license and you will attribute it to this one email. So you can't make 5 accounts, you need one account. If you're not part of your university, you're not a student, you're a maker. The second link in the video description, this link, will bring you to what you need to know. It's the same thing, make an account, but you're not signing it as a student. So the only caveat with doing it not as a student is that you will not be able to access Fusion Team, which is what we use in our association called EPFL Explorer to work together. It's one of the main reasons why we use Fusion. It's very practical to use it because we know who's working on what design when and what was the last modification. So, as soon as you've downloaded the program, you can launch it, and you will be greeted, after logging in once again in the app, by this menu. This menu is your own personal Fusion360 page. Your repo. I'll be saying repo for repository. But we will be seeing all this in detail in the following video called File Hierarchy. We can now tick this first video off of the list, and we'll be doing the file hierarchy in the next one. Thank you for joining me in that first video, and see you soon.